We will be right back after these commercial breaks.
Are you tired of boogers in your nose? Well, No Bo Goes has the solution for you.
God.
We call it the picker. I am. Thank you. I was hoping for applause, but whatever.
Oh, okay.
It's too late for that, folks. Just go home.
It's the closest to real applause he's ever going to get.
Oh.
You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Cult Talk Net in the continuing celebration of Cultober.
Yay.
I'm Eric.
I'm Ian.
I'm Ben. Happy Halloween, everybody.
And I'm Michael. Yay.
Yay.
Michael is going to express his tisms with us today.
So today we got to watch Night of the Creeps, 1987. Seven. Thank you.
Six.
Which is a misleading title. It took place many nights.
It did. It was a multiple nights.
Oh, no, never mind.
I have release date 1980.
So it was 1986, partial release 1987.
That doesn't surprise me. That did happen a lot with B movies.
Did it really?
Back in the 80s. Yeah, you would have it like in theaters, and then there would be like a separate home video like release and stuff, which happened with a lot of lower budget stuff.
Right, and I bet this had a drive-in style release that was probably slightly different as well.
Like sometimes if your movie's real shitty, it gets released 2 or 3 times under different titles.
Luckily this has the patina and protection of age that prevents that from happening.
Yes.
90 movies, shitty movies that were made in the 90s do not get such protection. All right, so this was written and directed by Fred Decker.
I was hoping he was going to say Fred Durst for some reason. I was like, I knew that wasn't who it was.
Yeah,
I just
he
heard
would be like, how old would he? Never mind. We're not doing this. So it had a budget of $5 million.
Oh yeah, that's a low budget even in the 80s.
Okay.
And it made $591,366.
Oof.
Bummer.
It made about half its budget back. Actually, no, not even remotely.
Oh, not yeah.
It was.
I wonder
it made half of 1/5 of its budget.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's made its money back by now.
I'm sure by now it's probably made about $1 million.
Because it's got a cult following for sure.
So that's at least $1 million worth.
Well, it has to have a cult following if the Cult Talk Net's going to talk about
wow,
it.
You're darn right.
Of course, I'm part of that cult.
You are.
So yeah.
When's the Kool-Aid party?
Tonight.
After Christmas.
Yeah, it's tonight.
Perfect. Sweet.
Did you not get your well written?
No, I
I like flavor red.
We have orange. It's the worst. It's the worst.
It's not gonna work.
Worst cold ever.
So
what else you got about this movie, Ben? Anything noteworthy?
And it was opened in 70 theaters.
that sounds about right.
So at least one in each state.
There we go. Yeah, at least
Adjusted for inflation, it made about $1,460,000.
Oh, adjusted
Close.
for inflation.
Yeah.
Which doesn't help because that means their budget adjusted with inflation with it.
So did any of you guys ever see this movie before tonight? Was this your first time seeing it?
This was my first time seeing it.
Me too.
Yes.
This is my first time seeing it,
Definitely
even hearing about it. I had to think just in case because I watched some shit when I was younger. I was like, I would remember those babies.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw it on TV when I was like in middle school or something.
No kidding.
It was, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was just like a late night. I couldn't even tell you what channel. For some reason, I was like, this is so cheesy and kind of stupid, but God, I love it. And it wasn't until I revisited it a few years later that I like got it. Like, I thought it was a dumb, cheesy movie, and it is a dumb, cheesy movie that's also satirizing dumb, cheesy movies. Like, it definitely knows what it is. If you guys like good horror comedies, like, this is a good one. It's an 80s movie that is, like, making fun of, like, 1950s, like, B-movie cheese.
Oh, yeah. This is definitely a movie that knows exactly what it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Good God. The scene with the romantic music.
All right, let's go ahead.
That by itself just
jump into our breakdown of this film. And,
Heck yeah.
we'll jump to our Thrill Me.
Thrill me.
Zombies, exploding heads, creepy crawlies.
Well, the thing is, Walter, what I need is your basic flamethrower.
Thrill me.
All right, so the movie starts off with some bad-looking babies.
I really hate to see preemies fight.
I warned you guys. The movie opens with some shit special effects. So there are clearly midget actors in some really bad-looking costumes playing aliens. They look like babies with really fucked up faces,
waddling at incredible speed.
Yeah, just kind of speed waddling down like dark.
Now
hallways.
I want to see the movie where those aliens like abduct the Oompa Loompas and there's like a war on the ship.
Right.
Between space babies and Oompa Loompas.
Space babies versus Oompa Loompas.
Candy versus lasers.
Who wins?
Who wins?
Who wins?
The Candyman can.
The aliens have superior firepower, but I do believe the Oompa Loompas have overwhelming numbers.
Sounds about right.
They'll sing their way to victory.
Anyway.
Yeah, so one of the space babies has a canister, and then the other space babies are shooting at him, and the two that are shooting at him are like, don't let him get that thing off the ship. The experiment. They say it's an experiment, but he does, and he shoots it down to Earth, and then we cut down to Earth, and we don't see the babies ever again. And we just see a sorority girl, and it's in black and white back in 1959, and she's going on a date with her new boy toy, and
it was a motherfucker figuring out this dude's name.
Yeah, it took forever. His name's Johnny.
It's not Johnny. It was never Johnny. It was always Brad.
It was always Brad.
Except for when we have a Brad.
No, we don't have another Brad. We have a Brad Stir later.
Okay, all right. So we have not Brad.
Brad Stir, am I right? Yeah, what a bro.
What a bro. So they go to the makeout point. And then this cop shows up to be like, hey, there's a psycho killer on the loose because they heard it on the radio. The typical, like, there's a escaped mental patient.
I mean, yeah, you hear every Tuesday. You know?
Right, yeah.
Typical.
And he shows up, and you find out that the chick is his very recent ex. And he's just like, nah, this sucks. They're sitting there after the cop leaves, and a meteor flies by. And Brad Johnny is just like, fuck getting laid. I want to go find this meteor. So they drive off, and then they park, and then he goes off to find the meteor, and she's just like,
leaves her
Johnny, I'm scared. It's the first time we hear her talk.
Listen, Brad Johnny gets so much puss. He don't need this right now. He wants to go see about this meteor.
Like, how many times I see vaginas every other day? How many times do you see a fucking meteor?
Bro, I've had like 4 puss, all right?
It's like, honestly, Linda, have you ever had like too much pizza and you just don't want to see another fucking pizza?
Like, you're definitely going to want more pizza later.
But just right now, I am pizzaed out.
You just want a fucking cheeseburger, and a cheeseburger just flew by. No, so they park, and they hear more shit on the radio where it's like, psycho killer on the loose. He's very close to the place where you're at. So Johnny walks off into the woods, and he finds a canister, and then a slug jumps into his mouth. And then we cut away, and then an axe murderer approaches the car, and then we cut to the present day, which is 1986. And we meet our heroes, Chris and JC.
Chris and JC.
Which I only know Chris's name because I'm looking at it on the phone right now.
I was just thinking, I didn't know it was Chris.
We will for here now call him
Spanky. Because Detective Cameron, also whose name I know because it's on here, he calls him that later.
You mean
Detective Cameron, played by Tom Atkins.
We'll be calling him Bullwinkle.
Yeah, Bullwinkle,
Detective Bullwinkle.
Yeah. So we meet them, and Spanky's a whiny douche, and JC has crutches, but like he's much more charismatic.
Yeah, he was a witty guy, nice and clever.
Right. One could say that he actually had more backbone.
You could indeed.
So
don't you touch that button.
All right, let's start it. Let's start over. So we meet them. Spanky's whiny. JC's pretty cool, and they like want to hit on a chick, and she's with this dude that has a unibrow, which it was a bait and switch. He wasn't actually her boyfriend. He was hitting on her.
And then guy.
Yeah, Spanky's like, oh, let's talk to girls. And then JC's like, talk to a girl, you fucking incel. He doesn't say that. That word wasn't invented yet. But yeah, so
We all know what you're talking about.
Right, yeah. So
Yeah.
there's just there's some funny shenanigans and stuff. He sends Steve off to answer a phone call that doesn't exist, and yada yada.
He
None of
fell
that shit
for it.
really matters.
But it was funny.
Yeah, it was a funny scene. Then we go back to their dorm and we get a look at their friendship, where Chris is bitching some more, and then JC's like, "Hey man, get fucked," and then he goes on this whole rant where he's
That
like,
was he had been sitting on that for a minute.
or yeah,
Oh, yeah, that was quite a
He was
rant.
really sick of Spanky shit.
yeah. Which, I mean, I guess I would be too if somebody's constantly.
Didn't that happen after they went to the lab, though?
No.
Yes.
Yeah,
it did.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. For some reason, I thought
Rewind.
Yeah, so it's pledge week, so they're trying to get into a fraternity so that Spanky can finally get his dick wet again. Apparently, he had a high school
So
sweetheart.
Spanky
but she
quit
dumped him.
spanking, you know.
Yeah,
Right.
It's like it's starting to we can't get that shit out of our towels, man.
Yeah. And that's a small dorm room.
It is. It's like I have to stare at the.
tired of drying myself with a stiff towel.
It's like, and I rolled over more than once, and you hit my pillow.
Jesus. So anyway, so they're trying to find a frat, so they go to the betas, and betas are better according to the giant banner.
Because they don't. Because that word means different things in the future.
Yes. Yeah, that was a pretty funny.
They're like, the betas are the best, and we're like, oh.
Yeah. This is how he apparently decides he gets to impress this girl is by pledging to them.
Yeah.
And right away, the
What did-
fraternity boys are just like, you could tell they're just like, uh-huh.
Well,
Right.
JC talked him into it, didn't he?
Was that
Yeah,
JC's
yeah.
idea?
Yeah.
The
'Cause
fraternity thing?
he was like, frats get laid.
Yeah.
Frat dudes get laid.
I thought
or
that was
whatever.
Spanky's idea.
I don't remember.
Nah,
But,
I mean, you're probably right.
So we meet Brad, aka Bradster.
Bradster.
Bradster. He's
Bradster.
got some sweet blonde hair, pushed up.
Which is perfectly
Yeah.
natural. I assure you.
Right, yeah.
Jesus.
So he sends them on like a pledge haze, agreeing to like consider them if they pull it off. They have to go to like a morgue at the like sciencey part of the university where they have cadavers and shit.
Yeah.
They have to grab one of the cadavers and dump it on the lawn of a rival frat. Or no, sorry, on the sorority, I think.
No, it's a rival frat.
Okay, right.
Which
I-
they agree is better than fucking a farm animal.
Right.
Yes,
They
they
do.
They do
Yep.
agree.
Well, they jumped to that really quick, didn't they?
Do
It's
we
like
have
we
to
don't.
fuck a farm animal?
Well, listen,
Was that a thing in the 50s?
I got it was in the 80s. Well, what I gotta say is like when you're in a situation like that, you really want to try to lead them into your strong suit. And we all know that Spanky.
Yeah.
Spanky's met himself a good looking cheek.
My self-esteem can't take getting rejected by a barnyard animal. I can't do
I
that.
know. Can you imagine if it was just like you drop your trousers and the horse is like,
Christ. So anyway,
Nay, I say.
whoa.
so they go to
Stop it.
they go to this science lab morgue place, and a guy that we all recognized and couldn't figure out
As
who
not
the fuck he
Brad.
was. Yeah. Well, he was there. No, not
scientist.
not,
this guy-
not Brad, the scientist. And he couldn't
Oh, that's
remember the last digit to a pin pad to get into the secret science room. So he walks off to call somebody and be like, what's the very last digit to this number I almost remembered? Which was such a dumb gimmick to get him away, but I loved it.
But it worked. Yeah.
It's like, how much
So-
you getting paid, scientist? Come on,
Yeah.
you can't remember this?
So
Is it right?
Spanky and
Well,
JC
I mean, it's not like scientists are good with numbers.
Yeah, it's true.
So Spanky and JC show up. Well, he's on the phone, and he just happens to push. JC happens to push 0 and open the fucking door. So they walk in, and there's a dude who's like cryogenically frozen, and JC just keeps touching shit.
I know,
like-
what I really appreciated was the fact he figured everything out and he was still fucking with it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I don't know what this is. Let's try this. He's like, oh, this dude's cryogenically frozen. This is technology from the future. I'ma poke it.
Yeah, push buttons. More
and-
buttons.
With his crutch, of
He sees-
nonetheless.
Why did-
the
I don't
giant
know
red
why he would-
disengage button.
I don't know why he even assumed that dude was dead.
Right? Yeah, I probably wouldn't have assumed he was
Calling
dead.
it a
Yeah.
corpsicle? Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
if they're
Talking cryogenics.
keeping it on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But he manages to disengage by hitting the giant red disengage button.
Because you
And-
know you want to make that button real clear.
Oh yeah. And it opens up and dumps the dead body out, and they start to carry it out, but then it moves and grabs onto Spanky. So they freak out and they run out screaming. And the scientist was like about to walk into the room, and they just run by him screaming like banshees.
Screaming like banshees, you say.
They were screaming like banshees.
There is a gun in the next room. I swear to God.
We may have heard them
If you
described
go
that
get
way
that
a couple
gun,
of times in
I
a row.
might scream like a banshee.
Like a banshee.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh. Show's over, guys. We gotta run. Bye.
So then we meet Detective, what was it, Moose Bullwinkle, he said?
Bullwinkle.
Yeah, he introduced
Bullwinkle.
himself like sarcastically as that, so we just call him Detective Bullwinkle.
So Bullwinkle it is.
Played by Tom Atkins, who is a...
You know what? I like Tom Atkins, but what the fuck? He's just one of those actors that just crops up everywhere.
Right, yeah. He's been in a lot of shit.
Wasn't he in the third Halloween that was like a
Yeah, he's the
Was
star of Halloween 3.
Night of the
Yeah.
Witch? Yeah, so he
Season of
just
the Witch,
so
yeah.
he probably, I guess he either got casted or he just likes that B movie schlock,
He's-
which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, Tom Atkins is all over like B horror movies. He's like an icon of like lesser known cult horror movies.
As long as he likes it, good for him.
Yeah.
Maybe we
I
can do
actually
a
enjoy
Cult of
Halloween
Adkins.
season or Halloween 3 myself.
Yeah.
So let's back
So-
up just a little bit before I got to the party because I want to talk about his phone call he got
Okay.
because that's how
All
he
right.
answered it because this is premium Bullwinkle.
This is premium Bullwinkle right here.
Answers he's having a bad dream, gets a phone call, answers phone call and says
Thrill me.
thrill me.
Thrill me.
Yeah, he growls, thrill me. Because he had a bad dream where we saw him approaching the car where the girl was getting axe murdered. And then we saw some flashes of somebody getting shot and buried and shit,
Yeah.
which we find out more about later.
Mysterious.
Yeah. So he shows
Mystery
up,
box.
and
We
there's
don't use that word.
so the scientist is dead. He shows up. He's like, "Where's the other body? You guys told me there were 2 bodies." There's a whole extended thing where he's ridiculing people for telling him.
I mean, he was really
He was just laying into him
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
he was intense.
Yeah.
He was
Like-
It was like I almost expected him to say like, if I'd have known it was one fucking body, I'd have stayed in bed.
Right.
Yeah.
He's so intense. Like he's not even giving them a chance to
Never
talk. It's like
call
you
me
would
for anything less
know
than one body.
why we said it if you would let us talk.
Yeah.
But then they were just like it was the dispatcher problem.
Yeah, yeah. They were
Police
playing
jargon,
dispatcher.
dispatch.
Yep.
So,
dispatch. Yada, yada.
He says a line. He's like, "Dead bodies don't just get up and walk away." And then we meet the zombie. I described this movie to you guys as every 50s B movie.
Yes.
Yep, we have the mental patient with the axe.
Yep.
Now we have the moving corpse zombie.
Yep.
Yeah.
After we had shitty looking aliens,
Yeah,
they
aliens.
got it all, man.
Yep.
This corpse shows up, so the whole thing is like they walk around. We find this out later, but they walk around while these slugs are in their brains,
Yeah.
and then they go to places they like recognize while that's happening until the slugs all hatch and bust out of their heads. So he goes back to the the sorority of his girlfriend, which is now the sorority of Sydney, the girl that the boys were trying to hit on earlier,
Yes.
who's dating the Bradster. So he scares her, and then his face splits open and a bunch of slugs fall out.
And that was that at the window?
Yes.
Yeah, that was actually really creepy. I actually really appreciated that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
That was a
I
well shot.
appreciate. However well it was executed, it's not always perfect, but this movie definitely tries for some like legitimately creepy moments.
Oh, yeah.
sometimes.
No, and they built the tension up very well. You know, it's
Yeah.
like it's clear he's walking towards where she's at because we
Right.
see her, and then she
Yeah.
looks up in the window, and then it's like, wow, slugs coming out of brain, and then cut away.
Yeah,
It was just no, it was pretty well done.
Because that was the first time we'd see them like bust a head open. We'd seen
Right.
them like come out of and go into people's mouths
Right.
so far.
Yeah.
But,
And
very-
him standing there smiling through the glass and stuff. It had a
Oh,
very
yeah.
Evil Dead feel to it.
Yeah,
yes, it did.
Which there are some homages in the movie. I think Cindy's last name was Cronenberg. That's obviously David Cronenberg, which we
Right.
found out The Fly came out the same year as this. The
that's
Jeff Goldblum.
right.
Yeah. And then one of the officers at one of the crime scenes was named Raimi, which obviously is Sam Raimi,
Sam
Evil
Raimi,
Dead. Yeah. You know, if you're here from Cult of Campbell, you're
These are
very well
very-
acquainted with Sam Raimi.
Early times for these references, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, Evil Dead was what 5 years prior to this.
yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
right.
81.
81.
Yeah, and then Fly, same. I mean, David Cronenberg obviously
Yeah.
had other shit.
He had other
out by
movies
that
before,
time, but
yeah.
Right. Yeah. This was a fan made movie for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So we get more Detective Bullwinkle crime scene stuff when he shows up and this dude's missing his face. And they keep describing it as a headless body.
Even though it's not headless.
His face is gone. His head's still there. Like most of his head is definitely still there.
Definitely not headless.
Yeah.
Right.
There
Yeah,
were ears and a scalp, and it was all everything was there but
split
the
down the
front.
middle.
Yeah.
But what I thought was cool is it's reminiscent of what an axe murder looked like, because that kind of shook up the detective.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So I thought that was a neat little parallel.
Yeah.
That they managed to work in pretty naturally. You know what I mean?
Right. So we get a little more throughout the movie. I don't remember exactly when it happens, but we get a little more backstory.
Right.
And we slowly learn through some flashbacks and stuff that like the detective found the psycho killer, shot him without telling anybody, and then buried him in a vacant lot behind the girls' sorority. And that's now the house mother's like cottage.
Right.
We don't find that out at this point in the movie, but
No,
I'm not
but
going to
that's-
remember when to be like, and then this happens. So
Just know that happened.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
It is
Oh,
revealed.
I remember when it's revealed. It's when it's right after Spanky finds his friend in the basement. Remember, he goes to the police
Yep.
detectives. Or no.
that was before that. Yeah.
Right.
So the slug head exploding in the window and the crime scene afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So we get some more crime scene action, and then Cindy is like, "Hey, you two are dorks," and Brad's a dick because at some point earlier, Brad,
Yeah, it was a dick.
the Bradster tripped the cripple kid.
Oh,
which is
yeah.
all-
Yeah,
that's
that
right.
was like
Yeah.
it's all
I know
a
that
bad
like they're
one.
playing up like the troop bully thing, but I feel like the trope of the bully and the nerd. But I feel like the other people around him would have been like, "Hey, fuck you, man."
Yeah.
Right.
It's a little overdone.
Yeah, but he did it, and then Cindy was like, "Fuck off." She did a really slow, stupid.
Well, hey,
like a
I
middle
mean,
finger.
Star Lord did it.
That's true. But
She's not Starlight.
yeah. So
Right.
she goes on a walk with them, and she's like, "You guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but that body walked to my window because they'd already talked to the detective by this point. I think where he
at
was
least
like,
once. Yeah.
you know, what'd you guys do? And they were like, look, we were gonna do it, but then we chickened out.
Yeah.
And they brought up a good point because the very stereotypically Asian janitor saw
Oh
them
my god.
screaming like banshees is the quote. They said it quite a bit.
Screaming
And
like what?
Screaming
like
like
banshees.
like a banshee.
Yeah.
Like Banshee.
So
Screaming like a banshee. I think. I think.
so they got off the hook though, because he was like, "How did you get the body there?" And they were like, "He saw us running away, right? Wouldn't he have seen us with the body if we had the body?" And the detective was like, "Fair." So they weren't in any trouble
Off the hook.
anymore. Yeah. But then Cindy's like, "Check this shit out. It's a zombie." And then JC's like, "Okie dokie."
Your new girlfriend has lost her mind.
Yeah.
Yep. But Spanky finally grows a tiny little pair of balls, and he puts his arm around her to
Oh,
comfort her.
Gets to
Yeah.
put a hand on her shoulder.
Oh,
Starts
yeah.
fist bumping
Good
about
for-
it.
Yeah,
So-
they're like, oh, yeah.
Like, oh, hell yeah, girl's shoulder, am I right?
I did it. I touched her, and she
Meanwhile,
didn't get mad
she's like
about it.
traumatized, and these two
Yeah,
guys
they're
are
like,
like,
"Woo, we did
yeah.
it." Yeah. So JC goes for a poop. He
Yep.
limps away. She's like, "Hey, by the way, that's not all. Not only was it a zombie, it was a zombie where slugs came out of its face." By this point, Spanky thinks she's crazy, but that's fine because he's still trying to get laid. And then we follow JC into the bathroom where the janitor, who got ambushed by the scientist who was still walking around this whole time, or who started walking around. So now he's walking around with slugs in his brain, and he goes into the bathroom and falls, and they bust out of his brain. So there's
Yes.
slugs squirming around everywhere. JC's like,
Yeah, just like
Fuck.
it's like a dozen of these things fall out of each brain.
Yeah.
and then a scene that just we didn't really get.
Oh my God.
He struggles to get a matchbook that he then lights on fire.
Where did the matchbook even come from?
I think he was lighting it to cover up his poop. I
okay,
think.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
But still, why is
I
he
don't.
carrying
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, who knows?
I
But-
mean, I do know of people doing that in public.
Right.
yeah, that is kind of a thing. But
But
like,
I still don't understand how he.
Such a strangely manufactured scene. Because, why
Right,
was
right.
that what he was thinking of? Is kind of where
yeah,
Like,
he was
I'm
like
not-
these super fast moving slugs. I'm gonna light them on fire.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
he didn't think to crush it with his cane. Instead, he
Oh,
just.
right.
lit it
Yeah,
on
he didn't
fire.
even try smashing them, but it works because he lights one on
I
fire.
mean, yeah.
That was just
I'm just wondering how he came up with that plan, though. Like,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I
that's
don't
one of
get.
the moments in the movie that's not very well written. That he had to discover that he kills them, but it's like, boy, what a fucking way to do that.
It's his first thought, but it's so drawn out. It's a very drawn out scene of him like reaching for the matchbox and lighting it, and then he holds it under there.
And the slug just runs into it.
It's like, how do you even know that was going to happen?
Just like you planned, okay?
And honestly, I'm going to have to say that's like literally the only part of the movie where I was like, okay. No. Like, for all the ridiculousness of it, this is the one time I felt like they wrote themselves in a corner, and then they were just like, okay, quick, convenient way to do this.
Right. Yeah. It was a bit convoluted to be like...
Right.
Like
fire kills these things is all they're trying to get across.
Right. That's what they needed us to know. But they set it in a bathroom, which is just full of water. Like, so it was just an odd choice of how to reveal that.
Right.
And where.
But I mean, compared to the rest, like, that's really my only real complaint.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's not even like a big thing. It's just like, why that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but
now
he figures
we know.
out, fire kills him, and then he stumbles out, and one gets him.
Yeah. Now, I do want to point out,
him.
He manages to maintain some dignity because he got his pants back on.
He did get his
pants.
He did,
yeah.
He didn't, because the one went up his pants leg, so there's only one way to get in the body from there.
Well, as far as dignity goes, that's true.
Yeah.
But at least he'll be found with his pants on.
No, he turned into a zombie.
And was found with
he was still wearing
zombie pants on.
But yeah.
It all comes back around.
But yes, his fate was awful.
Yeah. So,
and I really like JC. That's really.
I kind of was hoping he was our main character.
I kind of was too.
Yeah. He's definitely like one of the best characters in the movie.
That had to be a little bit of a bait and switch on purpose, I would think.
I would hope so, because the other guy was just very whiny, can't really connect to him. You know what I mean?
And he definitely got less camera time than JC did.
He did,
At
they
the
gave
beginning,
JC, right. Yeah, he ended up with more by virtue of living longer.
Sure,
but like,
well, yes, of course, I'm not counting out.
But he got all the,
but
JC
for that
got all
setup,
the good lines.
he did.
Yeah.
All the good, like, you want some. In a protagonist, you want somebody who's going to make decisions. He was the decisive guy. It was good. Yeah.
Well, I guess you got to see the arc of another character, though, who you want to be your hero.
Sure. Right. Which is a little bit of a hint that this script might be a little bit more clever than it's pretending to be.
Yeah. I definitely think overall this is a pretty well written movie.
Yes.
Overall, definitely.
Yes.
But anyway.
He set the thing on fire.
Yeah, he sets it on fire, but he gets slugged. We cut back. Spanky walks Cindy home to her sorority. And she's like, hey, you want to go to this dance with me instead of Brad? Because Brad's kind of a dick. And he's like, yes, Bradster. I do. So, the Bradster.
The Bradster.
We call him Bradster because on his license plate, he has it as Bradster on his car.
And then he refers to himself as the Bradster.
Yeah, he calls himself the Bradster.
I was hoping he wouldn't, but I was also hoping he would.
Right.
It was a very bittersweet moment.
Yeah. It's like, come on, man.
So Detective Bullwinkle shows up and he's like, hey, good for you, Spanky. Anyway, come here. And then my favorite scene, if you can't, technically it's like two scenes back to back, but they're interlinked, is they go back to the detective's shitty apartment and he pours them both a whiskey. And then he's like, check this shit out, Spanky. And he lays it all out. He's like, remember how, or he was like, did you have a high school sweetheart? Just to tee himself up for this story. Spanky's like, yep, but she dumped me. He's like, cool. Mine fucking died. Want to hear about it?
She got chopped up to bits.
Yeah.
And then I tracked down that motherfucker.
Yep. He tracked down the killer, shot him in the chest with his 12 gauge, buried him in the vacant lot. This is where we find all that out, the stuff we've been seeing throughout.
I love Spanky's response to that. He's like, so other than the desire to confess to committing a murder, does the story have a point?
It was definitely like that.
That is the best written line in the entire movie, because the kid just looks absolutely stunned, but he's like, why
are just wanting to confess to a murder?
Yeah, he was definitely the one of the situations that friend had just like asked a question because they want to answer that question for you.
Right. Yeah. And we all know people who will do that.
Yeah.
I do.
I think we all do that, really, if we're honest with ourselves.
Right.
But he was. That line was great.
Yeah, because so far the detective has been like, this is like a repeat of the axe murder thing. He thinks the dude. Because, he knows that the guy who got out was the guy who was, like, with the chick.
The survivor.
So he's like, oh, fuck. Then he finds him, quote, unquote, axe murder because his face was split open. So he was like, oh, fuck.
Right.
And then, shit's happening at the same sorority as chick was at. And he's like, oh, fuck. So he's thinking it's like all the axe murder shit
has come back because
Yeah.
they never found his body.
Yeah. They thought he just got away, even though he knows the guy's dead. The next scene is the house mother, who is real fucking old.
Yeah,
Like,
just this old
like,
granny lady.
I don't know how old house mothers usually are.
I've never
but
even
she's
heard of
like-
a house mother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing. It's
Okay.
like somebody
Don't
like
think that part's weird.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
to look
Gotcha.
over the property and stuff. But like this lady just was like falling asleep in front of her TV watching Plan 9 from Outer Space. And it's like, I don't know if they usually like do they keep them on that long. She should be retired, right? Like, but yeah, I
But
guess
instead,
not.
she has a zombie punch through her floor.
Yep, the zombie axe murderer punches through her floor because he was buried under where her cottage
With
now is.
his goddamn axe.
Yep,
Yeah.
they buried him with his axe.
That's right.
It's nice.
yep.
It's nice that they buried him with the one thing he was kind of sentimental about.
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, it was
That
very sweet.
giant
All that
fire
evidence.
Right.
It was a regular sized fire axe. Let's not go crazy.
No, the radio said giant fire.
They
axe.
did.
We will propagate the sensationalism.
Yeah, so she gets murdered, and then
And chopped up
the
to
detective gets a call that he answers with his catchphrase, "Thrill me."
Throw me.
And
Thrill
then,
me.
boy, he gets fucking thrilled. That's for damn sure.
Yep.
So he shows up to this crime scene, and one of the guys is an asshole. He's like, if we had a different body bag for every piece, we'd be here all night. And then he smirks.
Starts
It's like,
laughing
dude,
like
a human being was dismembered.
a very old lady.
Like, I know you get desensitized to some things, but there's no way that happens enough for you to be like, just another night.
and he's like eating, he's like chewing on food
Yeah.
while he's
Yeah,
saying
like
it.
yeah, I
Like,
get
"Ha ha,
cracking.
what a bitch."
I get cracking jokes at like a heart attack or something like that. But like an axe chop up into pieces.
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
little horrific.
That's gonna
for a
shock you.
college
Right,
guy.
Officer,
right.
I promise you never seen that.
I can't
promise you.
imagine, like,
right.
Like, you know how when you ask a cop or an EMT or a firefighter or anybody, what's the craziest thing you've seen on the job? That guy's answer should be that. Oh, I once saw an old lady hacked to fucking bits. That was kind of nuts.
By an axe with a hole in her floor.
Yep, came up out of the ground. That was what we got.
So anyway, so now they're on the hunt for the killer. The dog got out too. That's an important detail when they kick the door open. And he's like, oh yeah, the detective they tell him they found the guy because two of the cops see him stumbling around and he's like, get the 12 gauge out of my car. He
Mhm.
loves his 12 gauge.
Yeah.
But they follow this guy into like a dead end alley, and then the cops surround him. And he turns around and he's like a decomposed, rotted skeletal corpse.
Yep.
Which that
But the
I
time-
remember that actually
Yeah.
legit scared me as a kid. Like, not really anymore. The effects
Sure.
are good, but they're
Sure.
not like
Right.
haunt your nightmares good. But like as a kid, when he turned around and he was like, because I didn't catch the very beginning of this movie.
Right.
So I was just like, oh, axe murdering zombie. This is kind of creepy. And they shoot him and he doesn't die because he's a dried up skeletal corpse.
Shoot
Then they
the shit
blast
out of
his
him.
head open
Yep.
with a 12
Yep,
gauge.
blasts his head open with the 12 gauge and all the little slugs scatter and the cops are just like,
And they conveniently don't go after any of the cops.
no.
yeah,
they
yeah.
just run away.
I was expecting them to start shooting up pants legs left and right.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what I thought. I
right.
thought they would just start infesting the cops. And then-
right.
Yeah.
Which that would have been kind of cool. A bunch of zombie
sure.
cops. But instead,
Yeah, but they
later
were probably
we
like, we don't have the budget for that sort of thing.
right.
Right.
Because they're already doing zombie frat boys, but we'll get to that.
That's
So
right.
it cuts to the next day, and we get a montage that includes some titties.
Oops.
Yep.
And,
Yeah,
and,
boobies
and
in the
when
shower.
you know, I'll say this in like any like B movie or like 80s movie that's got boobs in it. People think like, oh, they have to put it in there. Yes, they do.
Ben,
Yeah,
It is part-
absolutely.
it
is an advocate.
It is part and parcel of the contract that B horror movies in the 80s made with their audience. Because women weren't watching this shit. Like nowadays, you're like, yeah, my girlfriend will go to the movies with me. Back then, that was a no.
Oh, right.
This was all males. So yeah, part of the bargain was boobs. Deal with it. It was nice.
Yeah. Well, and there were actually some producers like Roger Corman who did a lot of 80s B movies who literally required nudity in his movies because that's what got them to sell.
Right.
That's how you sell a shitty movie. You're
Yeah,
like, hey, people
well-
will pay for a ticket because there's tits in it. And then they're like, okay.
And
cool.
honestly, like nudity has been like tied to horror, obviously, for a very long
Since the
time.
beginning.
Right.
And I think that's because of like how adult the rating has to be to depict good horror often anyway, because of all the gore and stuff
Right,
like that.
yeah.
So they're like, well, we may as fucking well. And then the audience was, got used to it. And so
Right.
so
It's
there
just
we are.
kind
Yeah.
of become intertwined.
Right.
Yeah. I I don't know. That's a whole thing
Yeah.
we could go into. But
I would like to look into that more.
And I also only apply this to like the 80s. Like
in particular. Yeah.
nowadays, that's no longer the case. You can do a nice, good horror movie without.
Oh yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Well, because
without
you can
breaking
look up
millions of dollars.
tits like at the drop of a hat.
Right. But
So
in
it's
the
not that big of a deal anymore.
right, but in the 80s, you have to keep all of these movies in time context.
Right. You had to hide a dirty mag or go to an R-rated horror movie.
Exactly. So yes, it has to be done. It's part and parcel of the deal.
So yeah, we got some titties, but it's the next day. Everybody's getting ready for the formal. Spanky's all stoked, and then he asks some dudes, "Hey, have you seen my roommate? He didn't make it back last night. I'm kind of worried about him." And they're douchebags for I don't even remember what they said.
He just
He
kinda
was
blew
like
it off.
making fun of
Yeah.
him for having a tuxedo, and it's like, hey man,
Right.
there's a fucking dance tonight.
Right, like I
Most-
can't believe he's
most
like,
of
"What's
these
the
people-
tux for?" I'm like, I don't know the fact that there's a dance that's
Yeah.
like decorated all over the fucking walls.
Yeah, the dance that you're apparently too big of a loser to go to, I guess. Have
Jeez.
fun, dick. That's what I would have said. But anyway, so Spanky goes back up to his room and he finds Jigsaw's tape recorder and it says, listen, plays it. And we get my second favorite scene of the movie.
That actually was really good.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
and like the way he was describing it was pretty creepy too. It's JC and he's like talking about how like they got him. He's like, hey, like
There's one in my
she was-
brain.
yeah, she was like, or JC's like, she was right. Like, you know, this is a thing. There's one in my brain. I can feel it. He's like, I don't have a heartbeat. I don't have a pulse.
Yeah.
I walked without my crutches.
Yeah, I walked by
Like,
myself.
Yeah, it was kind of the idea of being like aware of that what was happening was just fucking creepy.
Yeah.
So he
And
goes,
he's like, the fire kills it. He made sure
Yeah,
that he
yeah.
knew. He's like,
Heat.
I'm going to go to the furnace.
yeah,
Heat.
he goes to
Heat
the
kills
furnace
it.
room to die. Spanky goes down there to find him, and he's dead. But all the slugs next to him are also dead. They got
Yeah. But you
Front
know what's
scissors
interesting
making
is when they
sound
showed his
effects.
body, they gave him the dignity, I guess you could say, of not showing his head like split open.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
interesting.
yeah, that's true. He was turned away from the camera on his belly and
Yep.
he didn't.
Yeah,
Couldn't
there
see
wasn't
You're
any
right.
like
It
gore
was a
or
little more
anything.
dignified in its depiction anyway.
with his
Yeah.
pants on.
With his
Well,
pants
yeah.
on. He had his pants
Because
on.
I think they were going for an actual genuine like
Like
emotional
heroic.
Yeah.
moment. Well, because that like the music and stuff, none of that was played for laughs, and
Right.
it wasn't
Oh,
really
no.
played for like fear or anything.
No,
Right.
it was more like like his friend. He was sad his friend died, but also his friend went out like trying to.
Yeah,
about
yeah.
as heroically as you can in that situation.
Yes.
You
right.
really-
yeah. It was like I'm not becoming one of the reasons these things get out.
Like it's a comedy and they're pretty whimsical in, a lot of ways, but they did have a lot of respect for that character, I think.
Yeah, I
Which
agree.
was good.
Which yeah,
He
that,
deserved it.
the actor did a really good job with that role. I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
He's only acted in 8 movies too.
Is that all he
Damn.
had?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
And I
Well, I hope
don't
it
know
was
his
enough
name
for him.
offhand, but if you guys have seen Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, he was the nerdy wizard kid. That's
He was the one in the
same actor.
wheelchair. Which, by the
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
Dream Warriors is the best Nightmare on Elm Street.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have them all. It is easily the best. I have all of them and all
yeah.
the Friday the 13th.
You could like if you're a pretty casual horror fan, or I'd even say a diehard horror fan, you could watch the first Nightmare and the third Nightmare and none of the other ones, and you'll be good.
Yep,
Huh.
because they directly connect to each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah,
Nice. Okay.
yeah. And a lot of the other ones are not good,
They are not.
but
They're
some of
funny.
them-
They're,
Oh.
they're entertaining for what they are. but-
You're right.
but
I
they-
just
yeah.
realized something. His initials are JC, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They did the sacrifice thing, the Messiah sacrifice thing. Wow. And it was in his name, the reference.
wonder if
Are you
that was
saying-
on
name
purpose.
reference?
Are you saying that Jesus is a cripple?
No.
He did
That's
get
not-
nails through his feet.
He did.
Ooh. He was
Anyway, so anyway, yeah. So Spanky shows up at the detective's shitty apartment. That's another good scene. He actually has some decent acting where he's getting emotional about it, and he tells the detective what's going on. Not all
Right.
all the way through. I'd say his crying got a little hammy, but like that was another scene that was played pretty well,
yeah, sure.
pretty
Yeah.
seriously.
And it wasn't played for laughs.
Yeah. And the detective was just kind of chilling out drinking, and he had his door taped up, and I was like, that's weird security to have for the slugs. I forgot
Right.
about this part. And then
Yeah, but he had his oven on. With
yeah,
the
he
door
was
open.
running the gas.
Yeah, he was filling the whole thing full of gas.
He was just gonna quietly go to sleep. He was just like, look, the dude who killed the love of my life was back as a zombie. His brain slugs.
Yeah,
Fuck
nothing
this
left-
shit. I'm out of here.
Fuck that shit out,
Nothing
man.
left
Yeah.
to live for.
Yeah, it wasn't even. I almost feel like he was like, "This is officially got too weird for me. I'm choosing to check out."
He was like, "I've been thinking about this for a couple of years now. I'm definitely
Yeah, I
going
don't blame
for
him.
it now."
To be fair, I don't blame him. I probably would have considered the same thing. Like, I can't defeat this.
All right, yeah,
right.
But now he has a call to action. He has a reason to live. He
Yeah.
grabs his trusty 12 gauge from under his bed where he keeps it, and that's where we see that the oven was open, and it's like, oh, he was gonna kill himself.
It's like, oh,
That's a little
shit.
much. But, him and
But it was nice
Spanky go out.
foreshadowing.
Right, yeah. Him and Spanky go out. They don't get Cindy yet. That's right. They go to the police armory where
to get a flamethrower.
to get the flamethrower that every police station has.
Definitely
You know,
has
in
at
case
least
they
one.
need the flamethrower.
And it was
or
funny because
something.
the guy's just like at first it's almost like they don't have one. He's like, a flamethrower. Why do you need a flamethrower? And he's like, hold on, I'm gonna go get it.
Yeah, let me go get the flamethrower that we all know we have here. And that guy was pretty funny. He was played by I looked it up, Dick Miller, who was a very, very long time character actor.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this dude-
best
yeah.
known for the Gremlins
Yeah. Most people know him from Gremlins, which so just to give you an idea of
and
how
Small
long his
Soldiers.
career
I remember
was.
him in Small Soldiers.
Yeah, that's right. Fuck, I forgot.
He was the
in
truck
that.
driver.
Yeah,
Delivered
so-
the toys.
So he died a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
Huh.
His first starring acting role was in 1959
Nice.
in a horror comedy called A Bucket of Blood.
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, I think.
Nice.
Well, and it's like 65 minutes long or something. Like we
Okay.
might check that out for a bonus. But
59.
yeah, I thought that was interesting that this movie began in 1959, and then
and
that's
so
when,
did his career.
Yeah, that's when Dick Miller's career, and
I
he's
wonder
been
if they
in
did it on purpose.
tons of shit. He's just had little bit roles like that in so many fucking movies. He's one of those people where you're like, oh, it's that guy. Yeah. So,
Dick Miller.
yeah, Dick Miller goes to get them the fucking flamethrower. And he's like, "Do you have a requisition form?" Not like he's
just being
he's
chatty.
all
Like,
in.
do you have one?
Yeah, he's just like, "Wow, what a crazy thing to need. Let me grab that for you." And then the detective just sticks a shotgun through, and he's like, "Nope." But I don't think he kills him. They never show that.
No.
No,
Yeah,
I don't think
Because
they
he's
did.
like, that's kind of, he's like, I don't. And he's like, that's kind of going to be a problem. And he sticks the barrel in. And what's he say? Like,
yeah, a
It is
little bit
gonna
of a
be-
problem.
Yeah, it
yeah,
is
a little bit of a problem. Yeah. But they had their flamethrower. Meanwhile, a bunch of the betas gone on a party bus to party.
Yeah.
Not including Brad, because Brad was depressed that Cindy blew him off. 'cause
Right.
He was an asshole.
He's just
Oh,
drinking alone.
Bradster tossed that
Bradster,
beer
yeah.
bottle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just passed.
With all the
Yeah.
might of a prepubescent girl.
Yeah.
It might have bounced a little.
He's just like, bitch, and just
Yeah,
throws
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So
Bradster.
Definitely a beta.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
So the house mother's dog is walking around.
Yep.
And then Brad's all drunk and he sees the dog. Well, he sees a slug and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then the dog walks up and he's like, "Hey doggy, did you see
And it's
that
a
fucking
zombie
slug?"
dog.
Yep. And then it spits a slug
Swamp.
into his face. And then the dog keeps walking around. And eventually the bus driver sees the dog and swerves and crashes into a car. And we get this weird shot where it's like a crash zoom on his face and his eyes pop out.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's a direct homage to Mad Max because there was a shot exactly like that in the first Mad Max movie.
With the eyes bugging out like that
yeah,
and everything.
but they didn't pull it off quite as well. So it's just like, what? So the whole bus full of frat guys wrecks. And then the dog gets them all with slugs.
Yep. We see them all crawling out of the bus at some point.
Yep. Meanwhile, at the sorority house, Cindy has gotten ready for the formal. She's going with Spanky.
Right.
And Brad shows up, knocks on the door. This scene was fucking funny. He's just standing there like slack-jawed and dead-eyed.
Oh my god, this
And the sorority sister's like, "Cindy, Brad's here."
She's like, that's not funny, Brad. Cindy. His like eyes are completely whited
He's all
over. You can't
zombie
see
down.
any.
He's
Yeah.
just like,
Oh, it was so funny.
so
It's like,
good.
listen, Cheryl, I need you to look at him and understand that he is dead. Like,
Right.
And
Cindy. So Cindy goes outside to talk to him.
she like takes his
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
She guides him to sit
Oh.
on the step, and he's just
the whole
lumbering
time, just
along.
the same expression. It was so good.
He's so brain dead, but his legs are working. Basically, is where he's at.
So then he starts to vomit
She's
out
oblivious.
some slugs.
yeah, because she was talking. They had to
she's
get away
like
from her.
talking out
Yeah.
all these. She's like, I'm so sorry, it didn't work
Like,
out. It's
yeah,
okay. And
And
he's
these
just,
slugs like,
he's
fuck
just like,
this.
"Yeah."
yeah, they're like, we got a world to conquer. Like,
Okay, buddy. So then Spanky and the detective show up.
Yep.
And they tell her to get away, and she turns around and realizes that he's slug mouth, and she's like, "Oh fuck! It's one of these fucking things that I already saw and didn't recognize for some reason."
She didn't even look at him.
Yeah,
She didn't want to.
So then Spanky shoots him, or no, sorry, the detective shoots him in the head, and then Spanky roasts him.
Flamethrowers.
Yeah.
Yep. And he gets a stupid line in there, I think. But I can't remember it. So
it should have been Thrill Me. They really dropped the Thrill Me
They
thing in the
did
third act.
drop the Thrill Me.
Yeah, they should
Well,
have
he
spread it out a little more.
got it at the end.
They should have spread. Oh, did they? Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't catch it. Okay,
So
that's good.
they go into the sorority house, and one of my other favorite lines happens. Spanky and Cindy stay outside to fend off the zombies, but then the detective goes inside. Oh, and I forgot a thing earlier. Right at the beginning of the movie, there was a throwaway scene where one of the sorority girls was like, "Hey, I need to store all these human brains in the basement for
Oh,
the bio
that's right.
class."
Yep.
Yeah, so we established that there's just a pile of human brains in the basement.
Down in the
jars.
basement. Yeah.
They start the two lovebirds start taking out zombies together.
Yeah.
Because the frat boys show up. All the frat boys.
Ladies, your dates are here.
I got good news and bad news. What's the good news? Dates are here.
What's the bad news?
They're dead.
Oh.
It's so good. It was such a
He got
cheesy fucking
just the
line.
cheesiest lines. I loved it. It
They're
was so good.
dead. He's just chomping a cigarette while he's saying it. It's so good.
And so the undead frat boys are attacking and they're getting shot and roasted.
Yep, shot and roasted. Cindy's running the fucking flamethrower
Right.
while Spanky uses the shotgun.
Although I would have never have forked over that. Like, because he hands her the shotgun at first.
Oh, right. Yeah,
I would have never have forked over that flamethrower. I'd have told her to get
Oh, yeah.
fucked.
No, I totally would have kept the flamethrower.
Yeah.
So we get our climactic scene running from
Right.
zombies. They break into the sorority house. The detectives shooting. Cindy and Spanky get pinned inside of like a little like work
Shed,
storage
yeah.
shed. More shit happens.
Yeah,
And
a lot
then-
of fighting fire and
Yeah,
shooting.
yeah, just kind of a
It's
lot
very
of
repetitive
Yeah.
after a moment. They're just like shoot flame, shoot flame.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's repetitive. They do an okay job building tension. It's pretty. It's worth watching.
Yeah,
It's true. Yeah.
if it was longer than that, it would have been like, okay.
Right.
It was a good length
yeah.
to be like, all right, and now more shit's happening.
Right.
And the shit that's happening is they're like, oh fuck, the brains in the
the
basement.
brains in the basement.
So they run down there,
That's
but
where
the
the slugs are
detective,
going.
the detective's already way ahead of them.
Detective Bullwinkle.
He has his mouth taped up, so
Which
they can't
actually
get into his
a
mouth.
brilliant move.
I know.
Right, but
right,
then he
yeah.
immediately abandons it.
Yeah,
right, yeah. And there's a pile of slugs on the brain jars,
Right.
just been breeding. It's that was a pretty gross image.
It was.
when they were still kind of in the shadow before you could see how cheap it was, and they were squirming around. It was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like,
Just a big pile in the corner.
yeah, right, yeah.
Did that bother you, Eric?
That part bothered. That
Yeah.
was pretty gross.
And he was
So he was dousing it with
dousing it in
gasoline.
kerosene.
He's
Yeah.
like, it's fine. I was gonna kill myself anyway. You
Yeah.
kids get out of here.
He's like, run.
yeah. So
Starts counting down.
I'm
Yeah, he
still
started-
trying to understand how it turned into an explosion because there's nothing down there. For
Oh,
an
right,
explosion.
maybe he left
Because
the
gas.
oven running.
Because gas. That's how gas works.
That's
Yeah.
no.
Mike, gas.
Gas is a bomb in movies.
Remember Uncle Sam when they shot a cannonball and the whole house blew up?
Do not use
At
Uncle
least-
Sam to justify this movie.
No, this movie was so much. This movie
was so much better than
This
Uncle
movie
Sam.
is a fucking masterpiece compared to that shit.
All right. But yeah, so they run. Spanky's counting down with
Yep.
them. And then he lights the lighter, blows up the house.
Yep.
All the slugs are dead. And then and that's when Spanky said the line right before it blew up. He was like, all right,
that's
detective, thrill me. And then,
Boom.
Explosion.
Sorority house explosion. They'd
Yeah.
already evacuated it after the slug attack.
everybody's out. Yeah, they got all the chicks out.
And then
Yep. So we have a happy ending. Except then we see the detective's burnt crispy corpse.
Come crawling out of
Yep.
this.
Yeah.
Stumbling out
Smoking
onto
a
the road,
cigarette.
still smoking a cigarette, smoking in two different ways. And then he falls down outside of a cemetery and his head busts open and they escape into the cemetery.
Yeah.
And we see a spotlight come on.
Yeah.
And
Those
the
lazy
alien-
bastards.
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah, the
Yeah.
aliens are just kind of half-assedly making sure there's no zombies in the cemetery.
They're and we pan up and we see this great big ship and it's just
this humongous ship.
running
Spotlighting.
spotlights looking for these.
they could at least
So-
showed the babies one more time.
They could've.
Right, yeah, we
They
never
could've.
got to see the ugly
No
babies.
more
again.
babies.
Which actually, so when I first saw this on TV, I saw that ending, but there's actually an alternate ending where
Ooh.
I think the dog shows back up to the group of people that's outside. the
See, I was wondering
Yeah.
if that was gonna.
I don't
They
remember
never
which
did deal
one
with
was.
the dog.
Yeah.
See, I was expecting to see the dog when the frat boys come crawling out of the wrecked bus.
Yeah.
I was expecting to see the dog come walking out afterwards.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. But they
Yeah.
didn't. That's right.
But
they didn't
also,
show
I
the
guess you
dog.
could just assume that the dog exploded inside the bus.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
that's
true. That is what. Yeah.
I expected
Um,
there to be like a leader slug at some point for some
Right.
reason.
No,
It just
I
never
kind of
came.
did
Yeah.
too, but it never really did come down to.
They're
any
just-
more.
I was
Oh,
glad
yeah.
there wasn't.
Just a
Right,
horde
yeah,
mentality
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Just attack. That's
Yeah.
all they were.
But
So-
yeah, that's one of the endings. When I saw it as a kid, I saw that, and then I saw it on TV later, and it was a different ending. And it was like 2 or 3 years later, and I was real fucking confused. I was like, wait, wasn't there a fucking? Was I just imagining the spaceship with the spotlight? And I didn't know for sure which ending it was going to be when we watched it just now.
Right.
So that's kind of cool that it was, to me, the original one. Again, I don't know which was actually the original. But
Right.
yeah, that was that's Night of the Creeps.
All
Night of
right.
All
the
right.
Creeps.
So let's rate this puppy on a 1 out of
Right.
5. Let's see what happens next.
Detective, thrill me.
We're going to talk about whether or not what do you guys think about like the quality of the movie? Is it worthy of Cultober?
Yeah, I'm obviously biased. I love this movie. This is my favorite 80s horror movie after The Thing, which is my favorite horror movie of all time.
Oh,
So, like, the 80s obviously has a lot of good movies, but I think it was just a combination of seeing it so young, and there was a bit of nostalgia, even though obviously I didn't see it when it was released, but like when I was
Right.
pretty young.
in your younger days.
Yeah. And then, like, it's legitimately really fucking funny. Like, it hits a really good tone. It's genuinely cheesy and also like a parody of cheesiness. So, like I said, I'm biased. So I'm just gonna give it 5 brain slugs out of 5. It's one of my favorites.
All
I'll
right.
just get that out of the way early.
I
You
guess.
all know.
Yeah.
Right on, Eric. What do you think?
I love movies that love horror movies, if that makes sense. Like
Right.
sometimes more than I like the original horror movies themselves. You know what I mean? Like there's something about this that you could tell that they were obviously through the way they named their characters and the different
Right.
references that they make and stuff like that. Like I really love that. And I wasn't expecting that of this movie. I knew almost nothing coming in except like it might gross out Eric. That
Yeah,
was the
you
extent
were
of my
warned.
knowledge.
Yeah,
Your
I
brother
did
was
get the
nice
warning.
enough to warn you.
Yeah. So, but no, I really liked it. And it does remind me of like these movies that do kind of like horror homages. Like they kind of tickle my heart a little bit and give me that spoopy feeling inside. So I think this is definitely good. I'm glad we watched this Cultober, and I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 burnt detectives.
Nice.
I burned it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on it, Ben?
I really enjoyed it. I definitely think it's worthy of the Cultober. It's a cult film that a lot of people now probably don't remember or have ever heard of or even seen, and it's
Right.
definitely
Yeah,
worth
yeah.
watching at least once
Absolutely.
with the knowledge that it's supposed to be a comedy, right?
All right.
If you're going in
Yeah.
expecting a legit horror film, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, when you see those babies at the beginning, you're like, checked out. I'm
Yeah.
done. Nope,
Yeah.
not watching this garbage. Like,
So I really enjoyed it. I really, really liked the part that kind of tipped it for me was the recording from JC.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that was
That,
very well executed.
That was very early on in the film. I was like, okay, I get what this is supposed to be, and I enjoy it. But that scene was really interesting. So I'm gonna have to still deduct 1 star for that fucking matches thing. That was
That's fair.
gentlemen,
Yeah.
find something else.
right.
I don't care if you have to do. He is at a frat party, ate a bunch of beans, and did everybody like lit his fart on fire. That would make more sense than what I saw right there.
Sadly, it would. That is true.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to give it, let's say, 4 murder confessions out of 5.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Michael?
I think I definitely will not watch this movie ever again because I have no reason to. As
No
far as-
rewatch value for you.
Yeah,
Fair
no
enough.
no rewatch value for myself personally, but I'm going to give it it's still I think they captured exactly the type of movie they was wanting to create. So they definitely,
Yeah.
I definitely have it just wasn't for me was all.
Right.
But they definitely went for the movie and got the type of movie they wanted. And they definitely showed that they could do more, like you said, with the tape stuff and all that. Like they could have wrote a better movie they really wanted.
Right. There,
Yeah,
there
that's a
was.
good point.
That's what I'm saying. There was
Yeah.
hints in there that shows they're clever than they're letting on.
Right.
Right.
I think their cleverness allowed them to make this movie is what it really was.
Right.
I think
right.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but since I won't watch it again, it's not going to be a full 5.
Okay.
Sure.
that's
Just
fair,
because
that's fair.
whatever.
Just being
It's
honest.
So it's going to get 4 running babies.
For running babies.
Four
So
running
that
babies.
so that averages out to 4.5 out of 5 stars.
That's
4.5
pretty
out
good.
of 5 stars there.
Sweet. I'm glad you guys liked it.
Yeah, that was a good pick.
I mean, obviously somebody else's opinion won't change my opinion, but
For sure.
I was hoping you guys would like it. I was a bit worried you wouldn't.
You're like, don't
Right.
trash my movie.
Yeah,
Right,
I actually
right.
like
It's
this
a lot
one,
of
guy.
It's a lot of fun. It's
It was a
movie-
lot of
It's
fun
a
to
movie you
watch.
can have fun. I would definitely reserve it for like now, right? For the Halloween
Yeah.
season.
Right,
I definitely
yeah.
think I would keep it reserved for that because
In
Yeah.
that
I just-
spirit.
yeah, I tend to rent horror movies like from October 1st to the end of October 31st.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah, me too,
Oh,
yeah.
October is definitely
all
Ben's-
October is
yeah.
horror movies.
Yeah.
Yep, I just perpetually rotate out
Yeah.
horror stuff.
And that's when I watch it every 2 or 3 years during October.
Yeah.
I
It's a good
So-
tis
so I would-
the season.
So I would keep it reserved for that, but I would absolutely watch this again.
awesome.
I have a question before we kind of wrap things up. Is what was your favorite moments in the movie or favorite scene or whatever? I'll put you on the spot, Ian.
Okay, yeah. So it's hard to pick just one.
Yeah.
But my
It is.
favorite funny scene was just the whole part where the frat boys were showing up, because the part with Bradster just fucking slack jawed was hilarious, and then the detective's cheesy line. Non-comedy. I really liked his monologue, kind of explaining what he did with the killer, but it was still it wasn't that serious because there was like the way the story ended and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Other than just wanting to confess to a murder, like, but the probably my favorite non-comedy scene was the tape recording when he was listening
Yeah.
to JC talk.
What do you think, Ben?
I'm gonna have to kind of do it the same way that Ian did. I'm definitely going to say my favorite non-funny part was the JC tape recording. That
Right.
was just
Yeah.
really well done. And my favorite overall part, the part that I was like, I will remember this part, is the ending of Ian's favorite part, where Spanky just looks at him. He's like, "Detective, other than the need to confess to a murder, does this story have a point?"
Yeah.
Because I was wondering the same goddamn thing. I'm like, why are you telling him this?
Which again shows their brilliant writing. Because they're
Right.
definitely
That-
like, this is you're the
Exact-
audience.
Yeah, they're like, the
asking.
audience is going to be like, what the actual fuck?
Right.
And indeed, we were.
You're
Like,
right,
that was a
yeah.
good call on the writer's part.
Right,
Probably
because it was a well-acted exposition dump for the audience, but for the character, it was just like, I genuinely don't understand.
they're
why you're
probably-
telling me this.
Probably calling that out from those movies that they're referencing, like they're just this backstory
Right, yeah.
here grittily laid
Yeah.
out.
Somebody just
And the audience
turns
is
around with
finally
a
like-
drink. It started 10 years ago.
Did you hear about the death curse? Looking at you, Friday the 13th.
Oh, what about Michael?
Yeah.
If I had to, just same time that Detective Bullwinkle was on the scene. I was just,
Right.
I really, after the first time he introduced himself as Bullwinkle, I just wanted him to answer the phone from then on. It's like, Detective Bullwinkle, thrill me. I wanted that line to happen, but I knew it never would. I'm going to write somebody about that. Like, he just get this guy back for this one shot for this film.
Please.
Release a director's cut just with that text added.
Detective Bullwinkle, thrill me. Actually, that might just be a short series, all right.
You
It's
know,
fine.
there
Detective
you
Bullwinkle,
go.
thrill me.
Oh my god, it's a detective story.
Oh, brilliant.
What about you, Eric? Did you have a favorite moment?
Oh yeah, I think it's a toss up between the undead Brad being like talked to by Cynthia, and she just can't look him in the eye, so she's not aware that he's, and just that zoned out look on that
Just over
fucker's
her
face
shoulder,
is
like,
hilarious. That or the conversation that the JC had, well, JC's monologue more towards the beginning in their dorm room, just about like fuck
Oh, he's
off,
like,
man.
fuck you.
He
Like,
just
hey,
like
fuck you,
lays
Chris.
it out.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
he really laid the foundation for his character growth right there. So that was good
Right,
for,
right.
for the other kids, Spanky's character growth.
and
Yeah.
that makes me wonder, was it written in the script that way, that he monologues on both ends, or was it that when they got the actor, he was just
that
he was
snappy.
he was
just-
good at
Right,
it, and so
right.
they gave him those two like moments where he just got to monologue.
Right. Just yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder.
He did a great
He had a
job
lot
with
of
both
He
those
did.
scenes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He really did. And
Oh, yeah.
especially in a film that's very self-aware and funny, he really
Right.
made you feel like what he was going through was awful at the end of that recording.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But at the
yeah.
same time, he would not allow it to like make him
the monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good hero to have in there.
It was, yeah.
Yeah,
And he even
I
got
agree.
to tell us about it. He was even like, I love you, man.
Yeah,
Like,
he made Spanky
Yeah.
here. I think that's what turned
It's beautiful.
Spanky. He's like, I gotta be a
it-
hero.
yeah, he was like,
right.
I'm a pathetic tub of shit.
Yeah. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I need to get my like this no-legged motherfucker just outsacked me. What am I doing with my life?
Well, if
Right.
you're getting excited
Like-
about my arm around a girl, and he's just fucking over sacrificing.
Right.
himself.
It's
Yeah,
like
right.
it's like the only thing I can beat him on is stairs.
Oh man, that was funny in the laboratory when they were running away. That scientist just yelling, "Hey!"
yeah.
Like, dude, you could definitely catch him.
You catch him.
If you would just stand up and walk toward them, haste
Just
pace,
you'd have had
Just
him.
jog
Yeah.
lightly.
Just a light jog.
you won't even sweat catching them. I promise.
Jesus.
but with that,
Screaming like
let's
bitches.
bring this to a close.
Oh yes, another wonderful, exciting episode on this Cultober extravaganza that we
Night
are
of the
embarking on.
Creeps.
Night of the Creeps.
Yes.
If you haven't checked out our very first episode with Halloween, please
Ooh.
check that out. That is a classic. Everybody loves that movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
John Carpenter is a fantastic horror director.
Right. And Halloween, I think everybody agrees, is probably like his magnum opus.
Yes.
I think I only watched a movie once. I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
Oh,
Oh my
my.
God.
What was
So-
y'all mad about me in the Moontraps episode? What was y'all
Jeez,
mad?
what
I didn't
was
watch
it? I don't
RoboCop.
remember.
I never
You
watched
hadn't seen
RoboCop.
RoboCop either.
So I can forgive. So watch RoboCop. B,
Starting out with
I
that.
can forgive that way more than only
Halloween.
than I can see only than I can only having seen Halloween once.
Hmm.
Oh,
What's your
right.
top Halloween movie you have to watch every year?
Ooh.
Honestly, it's got to be Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
You know
That,
what?
that movie
Oh,
that
there
movie
we go.
takes all the boxes.
Which, by the way, guys, stay tuned for that.
Ooh.
That's going to be one of our YouTube videos. If you're hearing this is a YouTube exclusive, so you've obviously found us on YouTube.
Yes.
Congratulations. Also,
Yeah, sure.
sorry.
Yes,
We
you
will
should
be
also find us on other social media.
Yeah, Trick or Treat will be coming
Indeed.
down the pipeline
Yep.
with this.
We're gonna do
October.
Trick or Treat. We're gonna do. We're doing more movies like this that are YouTube exclusive. We've got Halloween themed Cult of Campbell every Monday. If you haven't already heard that, I don't remember exactly when this is coming out in the month, but just go listen to all of them.
All of them. We're
We're doing
all October.
all October. There's going to be 4 episodes of Cult Talks Weird Shit.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think Creepy Cryptids is the same week we're dropping this, maybe. But we're gonna have there's gonna be 4 episodes. There's one every Wednesday.
That's right.
So come back to see all of the shit we're gonna be.
Yeah,
doing.
we are
Yeah.
absolutely pumping out a metric ton of content this October.
Oh
yeah.
yes. It's gonna be
Tyler really
cultastic.
picked a fucking hell of a run for us to get through.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. Tyler is putting our asses to work
Yes,
this
indeed.
time. Yep.
Yes,
all for
indeed.
And
you.
I think at the time of recording this, there's still some episodes we didn't schedule to be recorded yet.
But we'll
Oh,
be,
yeah.
but we will be pumping that shit out quicker
Right.
than a man
So-
on Viagra.
So to amend, we will hopefully have some more shit going down the pipe. Best case scenario, you can listen to an episode of Weird Shit every Wednesday. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway,
Check us out at Cult Talk Net on Twitter, Instagram. Did we do the Facebook?
The
Probably
Facebook.
not. No.
How old
Facebook.
are you?
Oh, don't
I
ask.
don't, think, I don't think we do have a Facebook. Right? No, you know what? We do have a Facebook, and we'll make it before this airs.
You just
Well,
forced our
I
hands.
say just make that private group public. Is
Yeah.
all you need to do now.
Go over and spend some time
Yeah.
with Ian on Reddit. He's alone on Reddit.
Still alone.
At the
Still
time
alone.
of recording.
At the time
Still
of
alone.
recording.
Have you
Yeah.
posted on there?
No,
It's been a
Why,
while.
why would they
post.
come into your community then?
Well, I'll start posting once people show. I posted and nobody showed up, and then
Just post like, "Hey, are you here?" and see if anyone answers.
Yes, yes. If Ian says,
Hello?
"Hey, are you here?"
Is
Will you
it
guys say
me
we're
you're
here?
What do we want the
looking for?
what-
hey, are you here? And one
Yeah.
comment from somebody who doesn't join the community that's just like, get fucked.
We need whoever
Okay, thanks.
you're gonna go post this tonight,
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
God.
and
Tonight.
whoever hears this,
Why don't you
On the
jump on
release.
there and
Yeah,
join
why-
him?
Why don't literally any of you at
Well-
all make a
well,
Reddit
hold on.
account?
What we need to do is that when they get on there, they're hearing this right now on this
Yep.
YouTube exclusive.
That's right.
You're going
gotta
to go put it
Reddit.
on there. Are you in here? And whoever goes on there and says "Thrill Me" first gets $5.
Oh,
$5 for saying "Thrill Me" to his. Are
For
you
Thrill
here?
Me? Yep. Call back to Thrill Me.
I'm not.
A
I'm
bonus
not gonna.
$5.
I'll pay the
I
$5.
don't have
bonus $5 if you describe somebody as screaming like a banshee.
Oh,
Ah.
Yeah.
Guys,
But
I don't know if we can
only
afford
if
to
it's
do
the
that.
same day that we
Is
drop
that-
this.
And we will not pay for your funeral when Ben shoots you for saying it.
I don't.
I'm not giving.
We're
you
making
guys
a lot of
I was-
promises.
yeah.
I think it's time to wrap things up.
All right, guys.
Thank you for joining us this Cultober. I have been Eric.
I have been Ben.
I have been Ian.
And I've been Michael. Yay!
I'll fucking kill you.
Zombies, exploding heads, creepy crawlies.
Well, the thing is, Walter, what I need is I need your basic flamethrower.
Thrill me.